Welcome to Inside Straight. I'm Larry Mazza, your host.
I'm Kelly.
My wife and my co-host and my tech. Give me a chance. We are here in sunny Florida at First Pillar Productions. Brandon, as always, is running the show for us. Sunny Florida, but meanwhile, you're in a sweater, I'm in a long sleeve shirt. It's not so nice out. It's sunny, breezy, around 75. I mean, normally we have 80 something and I'm in a short sleeve shirt and
It's true.
white shoes as opposed to these dark winter colors.
Well, winter is here. It is here.
On the way here, I got a beep from our track guy, Mike J. Eventually, if he signs off, I'll give his full name. I don't know if he wants to do that, so I won't say it. But Mikey J got in touch, and there's a horse running in the 5th race at Keeneland. I'm not privy to give it out right now. If you remember, you will be getting a beep. Our techs have the beep or the alert set up, so you will get that in your email if you remember. So please check. And tomorrow, Kelly gets a walkthrough, so she will be handling all the emails moving forward. And they come at crazy times. So that's why, to really make this successful and for you to get those benefits, reap the benefits, you need to be a member and get that email. It's very important, like this horse that came in. If I gave it out now, it would be unfair to the members.
Right.
And again, it doesn't mean it's always going to win, but Saturday we had a great day with the horses. Some local clients of mine went to the track, and I'm not even going to tell you how much they won because they'll probably have the IRS knocking at the door. Let them hit. That's their business. But they had a banner day, and this one today is 12-1. I'll tell you that, and good value there. So.
All right.
Yeah, let's start with our comments. What came in
Well,
last
are you
week.
talking about injuries?
Yeah, I will start. Thank you for reminding me about that. We were getting a lot of stuff on injuries and how do you stay in shape for games and stuff like that, especially, and it's changed over the years, obviously. But when I rate injuries, obviously you have to know the backup on every team. So if there's an injury like the Cam Rising with Utah, I've spoken about him. He is a significant part of the Utah offense. He's that good. So when he's out, the team's just not the same. Last year he got hurt, but I researched, and the second string quarterback, and I told my local clients that not to worry because that backup is a stud and he's going to prove himself. And long story short, the guy had like 4 touchdowns. He was running all over the place, and Utah covered anyway. This year, it's not the same. Their backup, there's a big drop-off. So you go from a 4.5 with a running, college, a 9 quarterback with also a 9 run. That's a significant drop-off now to the second string. That's a 5. So you got to rate that. Very, very important. And same for the pros. You look at New Orleans. They had a fantastic start, scoring a lot of points. David Carr's the quarterback. You know, borderline star. He was supposed to be a star. He had some up and down years, and all of a sudden he was great this year. He got hurt. The backup for New Orleans, what is his name? Here I go again. I should know it. Spencer Rattler. I'm getting better. I mean, he's a far cry from David Carr. And if you saw the game in Tampa, New Orleans tried so hard, but we had Tampa, by the way. So it was a win for us. So that's a different story there, where you have a guy like Carr and then all the way down to Rattler. Take Cleveland, the Cleveland Browns. As a matter of fact, I want to talk about something else there. I mentioned about 3 weeks ago that their quarterback, for lack of a better word, is one of the worst quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. Never, ever does. He's horrible, okay? They've been talking about him all morning. So either they watched our show or it took them 3 weeks and we're a little faster than them, the experts. But they're talking about the backup there. The backup is Jameis Winston, who my tech looked up for me because I didn't even know. And I had no reason to look, because he's not hurt or anything, the starter. So Jameis Winston has had his ups and downs too. Is he going to be any better? He can't be any worse. That's pretty much what they were saying. But we did have Cleveland Browns picked, and we made a nice write-up about it on Sunday, saying that the game's going to be ugly. It was. And Philly will have a very hard time covering the spread for various reasons. They didn't match up well against Cleveland's defense. Jalen Hurt is playing somewhat overrated. He's not the Jalen Hurts from the Super Bowl a couple of years ago for whatever reasons. So we thought it would be a tough cover, and it was. We said it would blow teasers. It didn't blow the 3-team teaser. So, but yeah, injury is very important. You got to know the backups. You got to know the extent of the injury, which leads us into today, and something Kelly's been doing research on is it's a whole new ball game today. Injuries from 15, 20 years ago, a sprained ankle, the quarterback might have been out for 3, 4, 6 weeks, depending on the severity of it. Justin Herbert got hurt. The Charger quarterback had a high ankle sprain. He missed 1 week. They was terrified. Oh, my season's over. Came back, and he's playing like Justin Herbert. So as soon as they get hurt, they're heat, they're icing it, they're elevating it, they're putting him in a whirlpool, they're shooting him up with whatever medicines they can give him to help him. I'm not a doctor, so whatever they're doing now, the guy got back, and that happens a lot now. Plus, these athletes, which I want you to take over here to some extent if you want, because I know you were researching some old quarterbacks and things, is diet, exercise, supplements. They're doing everything to help themselves, correct?
Right. Well, I actually researched Joe Namath, and he said they never gave a thought about what they're putting into their body. They just ate. He said his pregame diet was coffee, chewing tobacco, maybe a piece of toast. And he carried salt in his back pocket to put on everything.
Wow.
And I didn't realize players didn't even start lifting weights until the 1970s. He goes, we just went out and played. He goes, we never even lifted a weight. And he, so he researched Dan Marino, Terry Bradshaw.
Can I say something about Joe Namath real quick? And then I want you to go back to them. Joe Namath is some thought that's been going around in our Inside Straight circle. A friend of mine, an associate that helps us out with some things, Ren, brought up a great point. And a lot of the Alabama quarterbacks who are so great in Alabama come to the pros, and they just don't get it done. There's a bunch of them. The kid on Miami's good, but he's always hurt. Jalen Hurts, he seems to be missing something. The guys at Ohio State do better. And the reason I'm bringing up Joe Namath is from Alabama, and he won a Super Bowl, and he was playing in the day where quarterbacks were targets. So, yeah, the other two quarterbacks you said, Terry.
Well, just Dan Marino and Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw said he never even gave any consideration to his diet until he was diagnosed with cancer. And the doctors really started, talking to him about his diet, and he said he really didn't make the correlation until he got sick. But then you go to newer quarterbacks or younger quarterbacks, I guess is the right way to say. Tom Brady. He developed his own. It's called TB12 method. But it's an 80-20 rule where 80% of his food is plant-based and 20% includes lean protein like fish and chicken.
Right.
That's
pretty much a staple.
Yes.
Nowadays.
Right. And he's completely alkaline, and he doesn't eat any inflammatory food, no dairy, gluten, soy, nightshade vegetables. Then I know everybody likes to talk about Mahomes.
He's got baby fat still. Don't tell me he's eating right.
He is.
Oh, okay.
But you have to understand, these guys have personal chefs, so it's a whole lot easier for them to eat really finite than it is for the average person.
And they have every reason to do it. I used to say that about guys like, I'll say Stallone. I love Stallone.
Right.
It's not like I'm knocking him in any way. But he was always in great shape.
Right.
But he always had a Rocky movie to do.
Right. And Rambo.
Or Rambo. So he's wearing no shirt. He has every incentive to do it, like $20 million worth of incentives.
Absolutely.
So it makes it easier. We go to the gym all the time. We work out, we run, we ride our bikes, we do all this stuff. We eat good for the most part. Football season, I can't not drink. I'm sorry, but I'm able to taper off after the season's over. So, and what's our incentive other than to be healthy and you want to look young and you want to feel good, right?
Right.
But give me $20 million, and I'll show you what my body looks like.
Well,
even at this ungodly age.
Gronk, he says you can drink. It's okay.
Yeah.
but you have to drink 3 glasses of water to every 1 beverage.
I've heard that. That's good.
So
That's something we can
he
do.
follows along more of Tom Brady.
Right.
And then Aaron Rodgers, he's given up all dairy, all gluten. He says it makes his joints feel better.
Okay.
He no longer feels bloated. And then I looked up the Kelseys. So
Well, one of
Jason,
them's chubby too.
Jason, he doesn't follow any real strict diet. He just limits his caloric intake, which I find, and so does Travis. He more follows the other way, but I'm surprised they only eat 4,000 calories a day, and on game day they eat less. And I would have thought they would have really.
Well, I guess they don't want. I don't know. I don't eat when I have something important to do. I'd rather have an empty stomach, you know?
Right.
I get that. You don't want to be in the middle of a game and have to run to the bathroom. I mean, there's reasons for that.
Right.
I get that. But, you know, and then you take Shaquille O'Neal. He used to have, on the day of a game, literally 8 Big Macs.
So
He couldn't eat enough. He was going to lose so many calories running up and down the court.
So do they run as much in football as they do in basketball?
It's different. You know, there's anaerobic and aerobic. When you're taking that fast run, like on a fast break, that's anaerobic.
Right.
When you're just hanging around playing defense, that's more aerobic because you could sustain that longer. So football, when the receiver or the running back go for 100 yards, that's anaerobic. The linemen are pretty much more aerobic because they're not sprinting all out. So it's different. It's all, but they got the science. They got the science now.
Well, and they say it makes them alert. They don't have as much joint pain. It helps in their recovery time. You know,
Yeah.
we just need to have a personal chef. We have
Yeah.
to. Brandon, can you get us a personal chef, please? Okay.
All right, let's get on to the
All right,
comments.
sorry. On to comments.
On to comments.
You got me out of order there.
That's all right.
Okay. So Phil from Coco, incredible Saturday at the track. Keep it coming.
Yeah, I said that already. Last Saturday was unbelievable. We put it on the blog. That's probably where the horses are going to be. I don't know if we'll have a special horse page because they're not every day. Basically, they come in on the weekends, like I said, when the best horses are running. We had the first race we put out, there were 2 exacta boxes, came out exact the way we said, and they paid good. They weren't cheap prices. The next race was a win place. The horse won. The next winner, I think we hit 4 for 4 that day. The next one was another exacta. Yes, then the 4th race that we hit was an exacta and win place, and the horse paid $12.70. That's a good price.
Yes, it is.
So just to give you an example, if you have 200 to win, you're getting $12.70 back, $1,270. The exacta paid about $60, so that was a precious hit. And then the next race, we had a winning place on the 5. It ran second. I lost by about 8 lengths to a heavy favorite. But so it was a bad day, and they'll keep coming. But you can't force it. I don't force ball games. That's why Monday night we didn't have a pick. I put it in our blog early on. The wise guys were jumping on Buffalo, so they pumped the line up from maybe 1 to about 2.5. Then a very serious wise guy group came back and took the 2.5 and the money line with the Jets. So what I did, I followed early on Buffalo, and then I bought back. Again, I bought back a 3.5. I'm going to buy the point. If I'm going to go for a middle, I want a big middle. Who did I just look like? I didn't mean to do that. But, you know, I'm watching too much TV.
Yes.
Anyway, I would have, I did hit the middle. So, but we don't force it. I'm sure there'll be horses this weekend. And don't forget, we got the Breeders' Cup coming. We're going to have a bunch of sharpshooters. We have people out of California.
Yes.
You know, you remember Kevin and Jimmy the Hat and
Jimmy
some
the
others
Hat.
and Mike.
Yes.
Our friend Mikey C. He's good. He's got good connections with the trainers. So we're going to have some good information on Breeders' Cup Day, too.
Can I go on?
Yes.
Okay. Josh from Iowa. Ohio State killed me. Had them to win.
Oh, he had them to win.
Yes.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah. So did we. He's obviously a member because that was one of our big plays that wasn't put out for free. We liked them a lot, Ohio State.
Right.
They lost 32-31. They were playing in Oregon. one more field goal, they win. That's all it takes. But unfortunately, it was Lewis. He had him with some winners. I think you told me that. I don't know, maybe that's somebody else, but whatever. Yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, they didn't pull the trigger for us. But it wasn't a bad game, and we didn't re-rate anything. We didn't re-rate Oregon. We didn't re-rate Ohio State. It was a marquee game, and it turned out they played it the way it should be played.
Okay, what about the Rays?
Tampa Bay?
Tampa Bay,
Yeah.
because now they don't have a stadium to play. So will they just?
I heard this morning. Well, actually, you're the one that let me know. You saw it on the news that they won't be ready for opening day.
No.
So if I'm a betting man, I'm probably going to bet under the season total wins, depending on how long they're going to have to play on the road somewhere.
Is that what they're going to do? They're
Well,
going
they're
to play
going
on
to
the
have to find
road?
a stadium to play at somewhere. Well, no, they'll have a home field, but it could be a college field that they borrow. It could be, maybe they'll come to Orlando and play where the Braves play. I don't know yet. It just came out that they're not going to be ready for opening day. But again, if there's an under-over, I'm sure there's no under-over yet, and it probably will be adjusted. But there's other things you can think about, too, when the time comes. That's definitely a disadvantage for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Deshaun from Miami. He would like to know about the NBA.
Well, it's coming, and the same thing. We're building a page just for that because there'll be several picks a night along with the college baskets. We're ready for it when it starts. We're getting some preseason stuff now, but there's a lot of limits on preseason. And although they've been good, the wise guys have been hitting preseason. Like I said, with the WNBA, just not that much action, so the numbers are smaller. But yeah, all of that's all in the works, and it's coming. But right now, we're focused on football and bowl season. It's right down the street. Before you know it, they're going to be bowl, and we are exceptional with bowl season. In the past, I was fantastic in September and early October. I've been very good. I have no complaint, no problems, no. But what happened, I would slow up my handicapping because the line maker caught up. This is why the injury thing came up. I've been updating weekly each team and adjusting their ratings. So I'm continuing on, and we're still doing well. But the bowl season, watch what we do between the wise guys and us knowing who's playing with incentive, who is just going through the motions. Bowl season is going to be big for us.
Okay, Victor from California. You guys look great. Thank you, Victor. Keep up the good work.
Well, we talked a little bit about that
Yes.
already. Yeah. Well, we will keep it up. We worked out. We do everything we could possibly do, except, like I said, football season. I get shaky, and I need my.
And this week's been a little rough. Our gym lost power for an entire week.
The whole week we lost power. Then I had to go in yesterday. There was, I won't call it water damage, but some saturation. So anybody that's familiar with a gym, the rubber flooring started buckling. Can't have people carrying dumbbells and tripping on the rubber flooring. So I had to go in, move all those dumbbells, probably 2,000 pounds worth of dumbbells, move them off to the other side, pick up the rack, flatten out the floor, then bring all the dumbbells back. So my shoulder doesn't even hurt anymore, which was my injury that I went to the doctor a few weeks ago, because now my lower back just took over. All the pain is in my lower back. Reminds me of Scappy, my old captain. He had a toothache one day. He said, I'm going to stab myself in the leg, just so I stop thinking about my tooth.
Okay.
That's sick.
That might be extreme.
Yeah.
That might be a little
He
extreme.
was a funny guy, Scappy.
Okay.
Next. Are we done with the comments? Okay. Last week, I've been going through this quicker, and I'm going to continue to go through it quicker because you should be a member by now and be able to see all of this. But it's something that people that are watching, they're interested, they're going to want to know. So I'll continue to do it, although not forever. The week started great. I've said Thursday is a tough night. Meanwhile, we were 2-0 on Thursday. We had Jack State 54-13 and James Madison 39-7. Both won, both covered. The loser was James Madison, did not go over. The team, but they held the other team to 7 points. So if you just bet James Madison, that's what you wanted. But that's when the greed comes in. I wanted it all. I wanted James Madison and over. And I lost that one. Okay, Wise Guys played UTEP. We passed on it. It was 44-17. It was a loser. So we were good by passing on it and telling you we passed, but we gave you the info. They played it, and sometimes they win in spite of what I say. ASU was a Wise Guy game, and us. They won 27-19. They were underdogs. We touted points in UNLV. I've been touting that all year. UNLV is probably under the radar like Indiana was for a long time. They won 50-34. Easy. Here's where I went bad. Big losses, a few in a row. But I'm honest here, and like I said, you're going to go through these, but we finished strong. We started good and we finished strong. Big loss was Ohio State, 32-31. Enough said about that. We came back with a big win, Penn State. They came back, they rallied from 14 points down to win 33-30. I laid 2.5. There was a middle there too, if you wanted to arbitrage. And I always do. If I got a 2.5 and I'll put, let's just say, 20 units, I'm taking back 5, maybe 10 units plus that precious number. 3 is precious. Almost as precious as you. Aww. We can get the people sick. We can't do that.
No, we can't.
Cut that out. No, you don't have to cut it. Okay. Then we had a big loss in Tennessee. Florida beat Tennessee 23-17. We said at first we thought it could be a close game. Then I wavered a little bit with all the info we had on the coaching staff, but they might have reacted well to that. You know, maybe the team doesn't want to see their coach go. Maybe they like him, and they're rallying because they beat USC, UCF, and they beat Tennessee. Both formidable teams. So Florida's playing better, but we lost that one. We lost Ole Miss. I thought they would rebound against LSU. They lost 29-26. Again, a close, good game, but it's a loser. I thought they would win that game. Arizona was a Wise Guy play. They lost. Kansas State, we had put part of a teaser special. We told you sometimes we'll take a 7-point favorite and bring them down to 1. If you did that there, it was first half of the teaser, which won. Missouri won big. I don't know why the Wise Guys took UMass. They should watch the show. They're 0-6. They haven't covered yet. I made fun of them at the beginning of the season as to why they're even a college on the board. They're just bad. So the Wise Guys took them. I laughed it off, and I put out Missouri. I couldn't make it a big big goal ball play because the Wise Guys took the other side, and I do respect them. Big loser was Rutgers. I had them beating Wisconsin. Wisconsin showed up. There's something I got to say about in the future picks about those teams because of some losses. Ball State closed the special teaser. They won by 2. They were -7, but when you take a teaser, you're getting those 6 or 7 points, which made them a winner. I like those 7-point teasers, bringing them down. If they were home, those teams weren't at home. If they were at home, I would have made those gold bars instead of a 1 gold bar to play it. It's worth it. There's a big difference. Army, we passed on. We had them all year. People who are watching know what we felt about Army from day one. But I wavered because the line maker is now making the line where it should be. So it's harder for me to say, oh, boy, they're going to win this game. But they covered again. I lost the Eastern Michigan game. Wise Guys lost UCF. And I mentioned in the show, and it turned out to be a buyback game. They played Cincinnati. They pushed that line up, and then Cincinnati was bet late by some Wise Guys. So if you remember, you would have seen that. And you would have at least known that the Wise Guys were on both sides. It wasn't a game that we liked either way. San Diego State was a big win for us, and we middled it. They won by 3. We laid 2.5, bought some 3.5 back. Okay, very important. There was an email alert on Old Dom. They were a 10-point underdog, and one of the sharpest outfits we follow took the money line. They knew something I didn't know. But You would have known that as a member. And normally when I get that, I'll take the 10 points and put a small play on the money line. But they hit that one big. So a lot of casinos and bookmakers weren't happy. Western Michigan, we had them by 10. They won the game by 10. They laid 9.5. It was a big win for us. We came back and won it. We laid 9. And it landed on 10, so I don't think I bought back on that one. I'm almost sure I didn't because there's a big delay in the game, and I think I just forgot. But that's a good number, 10. It was worth taking 10.5. Would have been the middle, but Western Michigan won, so it's a winner. I closed pretty strong here. We had Northern Illinois. It was our game and inside straight. Big win because we touted the money line. They were 4.5-point underdogs, won the game outright, and I took 4.5 also. And that was totally an inside straight play. Same thing with Central Michigan. As a matter of fact, Northern Illinois was what we call Free Pick Friday. It's our marketing team is putting it out in different places. I'm not even sure where. I would imagine social media, which is Facebook, Twitter, what else? Instagram, all those places. Wherever. And they probably have other places they put it out too. It's called Free Pick Friday. And that was one of them. Central Michigan was also one of them, plus 4.5. That was a winner. They came back with a real nice comeback in the fourth quarter to lose only by 2, and they were getting 4.5. I did take the money line also, but I didn't put that out on Free Pick Friday. Just gave them the point spread. If you remember, I would have said there's a lot of value in the money too, and you would have split, but you win. When you take the money line, a split, you win. The Washington State-Fresno game, we thought it would go over. It was not even close. They 21-17. The total was like 50-something. So I don't know what went wrong there, but they didn't cover. Free Pick Friday play was Texas State. It was the first play the Wise Guys made on Monday or Tuesday when the line came out. They were minus 14. Line went up to 15. We did the handicapping. We completely supported it. Ended 41-9, Texas State, inside straight, and the Wise Guys had it, which is very important. If you are online and you see that, be sure it's going to be a solid play. We also had that on Free Pick Friday. So Free Pick Friday was 3-0.
Wow.
You know, and I have the pressure on me to put those games out because they're going out to the general public, and if you don't give them winners, the guy's no good. So I don't like giving just one game. They wanted one game for Free Pick Friday. And I told the marketing team, I want to do 3 teams. Because if I give them one team, I got to be 100%. How many people in the world are 100%? If I give you 3 teams, I only have to be 66%. I'm comfortable with that. I think I'll give you 2 winners on Free Pick Friday out of 3. I gave you 3 last week. The Wise Guys took Texas San Antonio, UTSA. I liked Rice, so we didn't play the game. We told you they took UTSA. We told you we didn't like it, so that's your decision. That's the info that you're paying for. That's the info that being a member is so important. We won the game, but it wasn't a play because I wouldn't go against the Wise Guys. Sometimes I do, like Missouri against Massachusetts. I don't care if Massachusetts is playing Cocoa Beach High School. I won't bet Massachusetts. So
wow, that's strong.
I know. I got to let you know. Syracuse won the game, but it didn't go over, so I can't claim a victory there. I thought it was a parlay special, Syracuse and over. We closed real strong with Georgia Southern +2 and the money line. They scored 21 points in the fourth quarter to win 24-23. Sweet. That was sweet, yes, because it was a big game for me. But it took a hell of a comeback, but water seeks its level. To me, they were the better team at home, and they didn't really play their best until the fourth quarter. We also had Minnesota. We laid 2.5. We laid 3 and the money line. They won 21-17. The game did go up to 5, but that's not a great number, so I didn't go for a middle. But if I did, landed on 4. So, that's a person's opinion as to what numbers they want to be on. And I will say this, with the 2-point conversion, especially for the NFL, and the longer field goals, 2 and 5 have become good numbers too. Not only 3 and 6 and 7. 2 and 5 have become numbers because if you miss a 2-point conversion, that's 2 points. I mean, it's become a number. go to the pros now. Incredible Sunday. The pros, I've always said, shaky. I'm not as confident talking about them as strongly as I am about college. But we put out San Francisco would win on Thursday night. They won. We got an alert on the London game. This is, again, why an alert is important, because it literally came in at 9:20. The game starts at 9:30 when they're playing in London. So there's no way for me to get on, well, for Kelly to get on and do the blog for us or enter that and have it's impossible. So we would have put the alert to you. Some people got it little by little now. It's going to be 100% tomorrow.
Well, and everybody needs to realize, too, it's very important to give your email address, because that's how we're going to get the alerts to you.
Right.
An email address that you check often. I know a lot of people have email addresses that they use for, when they log on to things, but that's where the alerts are going to go. So use an email account that you have on your phone.
What I would do is create one.
Well, as long as it's attached to their phone or some device, that they're going to get them while they're out.
Yeah, so some people are reluctant to give out their information. That's understandable.
Right.
So you could just
put it on your phone, whatever, an email that you're going to check.
So Chicago was a winner. Then we had Baltimore -6. They won by 7 against Washington because we had them 9. That's a winner. We had over the Green Bay, Arizona game. It landed on the number 47. That's a winner to me because I'm always going to buy half a point and get myself in a little better position. And 47, 7's a good number. 45 is a good number. Remember I told you, 24, 21, 24, 20, 20. What was the other one that's real close to that? 27, 17 is 44. There's numbers that put it right around 44, 45, and those are typical finals. You'll see it a lot. But 47, because of the 7, I took it down to either 46 or 46 and a half. It was a winner. Houston, easy winner over New England, and these were all written down in advance for you. Tampa Bay, winner. Cleveland, I talked about. As much as I despise that quarterback, not as a person, but as an investor in him, I can't. But the numbers are what they are. Right. There was 10-point favorites. My numbers came up. Philadelphia -4.5. I redid it. I reshaped it. I says, I'm doing it right. I said, I got to believe my eyes. And it actually landed on 4. So my number was really good. And I thought it would be an ugly game, defensive. And Cleveland's, it's not that they're not playing hard. Their defense is good. Okay, so that was that. And one of the biggest winners, because it was a wise guy game and we supported it big time, was the Chargers. Herbert was back. He was healthy. And they won. So we didn't lose a game on Sunday, which is phenomenal. So last night we put out South Alabama, which won. Under South Alabama was a wise guy game. It won. We supported that one. What was the other one? Louisiana Tech. Wise guys took the under. It was a loser. Okay, that was the only loser we had. And the other game, Kennesaw State, we had them plus about 10. They lost by 9. I thought they had a shot to win the game. It was just a horrible game, and it turned out to be a horrible game. But it was a winner. So we were 3-1 last night. So we've been on a good roll from football to there to last night. So which will lead me into this week's. Again, I can't give too many out because we do have members, and it's not fair to them. I'm not going to keep saying that every week. It's important, and it's not that expensive. It's less than the cost of a newspaper or a racing form. We priced it there because if you go to the track, you buy a racing form. Right. If you want to look at football information, you're going to buy magazines and you're going to buy newspapers. So it's...
Well, and the time it would take you to do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yes,
your time is money. So this consolidates it for you when you get the information.
Right. Okay, this week, Wise Guys jumped on Denver to pick. That's the Thursday night game. There's already some buyback on it because when it went from pick to 2, 2.5, somebody sees value the other way. I'm leaning to Denver because the guy that hit it first is very good. And he picked that game out of the air Monday and put a night. I don't know if it was a double bang, but I should write that. So, you know, again, Denver, they're playing New Orleans that has their backup quarterback in. His second week, maybe he'll be a little better, but Denver's quarterback, Bo Nix, he's a game changer. Just like Caleb Williams. That's what Cleveland needs, a game changer to get that team better. So we're going to follow at this point Denver, but if you remember, you'll see if anything develops. That same wise guy took Seattle +3, which is a Sunday game. Check in on that also. We didn't handicap the game yet, but if I agree, that'll be a multiple goal bar play. So far those two, keep an eye on Denver and Seattle. Okay, Saturday, I'm going to give you what the wise guys played. And there's two games they hit immediately. Game 377, Wisconsin -7 was a double bang. 375, Michigan -2.5, double bang. If you're watching, what is the common denominator there? They're both in the same conference. The conference that Ohio State just lost. That motivates them now. Both of those teams, I think they only have one loss each, but there's guaranteed ramifications if Ohio State loses one more game and they can continue winning. Because Michigan's last game of the year is against Ohio State. So if they're both in position, that's a big game. And it wasn't shaping up to be a big game because Michigan was a little bit behind the 8 ball. But those two games, and I handicapped them, I don't totally support them. But when I started thinking of why these two games, and I thought about Ohio State's loss, they know something there. So keep that in mind. And we'll see. If they double bang it, if we get other sharps on it, as the line moves up, if any wise guys take it back, you'll know if you're a member. But right now, they double bang Wisconsin and Michigan. Game 382, under 51.5 TCU. We agree. Cam Rising is out for the opponent, Utah. I can't keep talking about him. He's fantastic. He's out indefinitely. So that news has to hurt Utah, even mentally. However, I like Utah in that game. I think their defense, the numbers I did, because once it gets hit, I handicap the game. I go out of order sometimes, and I did that game. I think Utah's defense will, because TCU doesn't have the offense they're accustomed to having. They're not that good. They're good, not like what they used to be, that the public sees, you know. And I think the game plan and their defense keep them in it. I like Utah, okay, but the wise guys took the under. Game 349, Lafayette, Louisiana Lafayette, -3.5. Wise guys laid that. I don't think I had any big opinion on it. I'm going to follow it a little longer. I'm going to check it out again. They took under Rice, game 404, 53.5. I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure. I'm pretty sure they're playing Tulane, and I got Tulane scoring a lot of points. So again, if you're going to bet that game under, maybe you just bet under the team Rice, because I don't think Rice could stop Tulane. Tulane's got a lot of talent. They got a great quarterback, great running back, and they're scoring a lot of points. They're scoring 40 points a game. So I don't see why they took that under. I don't think it's because Rice is going to stop Tulane. That's my opinion. So if you're going to play that, take the team Rice under. Tonight, we got Western Kentucky. We like a money line and points. It's only a couple of points. They're the underdog. That's a free pick for you guys who are watching. That's an inside straight pick. Florida International is -7. We have them 11, so we're leaning that way. I think they'll win the game and cover, Florida International. And what is this? I left a note about the home team teaser. I should have put it over there, but we talked about that already. If a team is at home and they're -7, there's a good value in teasers. It's been for a lot of years now. Just like the 10-point teasers are not good value, especially with the favorites, because 1 out of 3 lose. You're better off taking the 20 points in a 3-team teaser. So Florida International being -7, that's probably why I put that note there. They're probably a good teaser play. Maybe we'll find another one. And if you're online, we'll give you that tidbit because
Right.
guaranteed there'll be another game somewhere. All right, couple more games and then we'll move on because I know you got questions, right?
I do.
Okay. Game 325, Wake Forest and Connecticut. I handicapped the game. I've got a multiple gold bar pick. You're going to have to get online for that. Same thing in game 323. It's UCF Iowa State. We came up with something good there. We're going to have a lot more for the members on Saturday games and also more horses where we've been fantastic. So please join. And if you are a member, don't forget to check in daily. If we miss a day, it's by design. It's because I don't want to force a play. Like Monday, I went on, I looked. There's one game Monday night. Next Monday night, there's 2 games. So hopefully we'll come up with something there. And I didn't want to force something. I didn't want to say, bet the Jets because this guy took them late. But when I knew early in the week, wise guys were on Buffalo. So if we miss, it's by design. But you're going to get a block 5 days a week. And they're going to talk about horses and UCF and things like that. Or UFC. I just did it. UFC, the fights. So, all right, let's get to question and answers. And
we already have games up for this week.
yes, there are games up already.
And
so, yeah.
we'll hit them hot and heavy over the next
Yeah,
3 days.
we'll be putting more on today and tomorrow as we get our info. Okay, questions.
Okay, so this comes from Jerome. How did you come up with horses, and are you consistent?
Well,
Or how do you come up?
yeah,
with
I
horses?
understood that. I have a good history in trotters because I own trotters. I made a lot of connections there, and I learned a lot from the drivers and trainers. So I'm comfortable handicapping trotters and giving my advice. And I've had people do well. I tell a story that's probably one of the best days ever. I was younger, and it goes way back to Roosevelt Raceway. That's how young I was. It's probably 20, 21. And they only had 9 races. I hit 8 out of 9.
Wow.
It was amazing. It was just amazing. But I have information. Like the horse we got today wasn't mine. I'm going to go handicap it. I'm going to go to the track right after here. We're going to go. And I'm going to look it over, see if I agree. And that'll decide how much of my bankroll goes on that horse. But we have another guy. Actually, his name is Jay, and he's out of Daytona. He's my card dealer. He has a guy that goes from track to track living in his RV. $400,000 RV. Guy made a big settlement, and he's fantastic. He hit the Kentucky Derby triple, straight.
Wow.
And it paid big money. I mean, these weren't favorites. And he gives us horses occasionally through Jay. We'll definitely pass those along. Mikey J, a lot of J's. Mikey Jem, I'll call him Jem from now on. He's the one that gave us one today. So we have a lot of information that comes in. They are consistent, but again, they tend to be towards the end of the week. Today was a shocker.
Right.
Yeah, so, yes.
Okay. Tommy from New York. How about them Mets? Do you think there'll be a Subway Series?
Spoken like a true New Yorker. Them Mets. How about them Mets? I grew up a Met fan. I have money on the Yankees meeting the Dodgers, so I'm a bigger fan of my pocket. But I'm not reluctant to play the Mets. The Mets are playing as good as anybody. Their pitching right now is the best of the 4 teams that are left. There's 4 teams left in the field. Their pitching is the best. This Sean Manaea made a comeback that they can't touch him. He really neutralized Ohtani, which is unheard of. Mookie Betts had problems with him. They got to face him again. So today they got Severino going. I'm going to probably take the Mets today to sort of edge off of my series. But no, listen, I could see it happening, and the excitement will be phenomenal.
Okay. So Todd from Florida. Any picks for college champs? And any Super Bowl picks?
All right, I've spoken about my season at the beginning. So if I had to change anything or add anybody, I've already got Baltimore in the pros. I'll start with them. So I'm happy with them the way they're playing, not after the first 2 games. I added Buffalo. As soon as I added them, they lost 2, but then they came back and won. The Jets, I don't think, they were my long shot. So I'm still alive with Buffalo and Houston. Those are my very first two. And I'm going to stay with those. I think Buffalo and Houston can definitely, at the right price. Again, you want me to tell you Kansas City and Mahomes? You're not going to hear it here. You're never going to hear it here.
Okay.
So those two, okay. The NFC, I have Green Bay and I have Detroit, and I'm very comfortable with those. Again, at prices. I added San Fran. I put San Fran because when I looked, maybe they had a bad game or something and the line looked better. I said, I think they'll rebound, or they lost 2 in a row. So I added them, so I also have them hooked up. And I'm staying with my picks. In college, it's funny, I said Georgia would have a hard time this year. So far, they lost 1 game, but they're in dogfights. I thought Mississippi, I got to back off on them. I never talked about Alabama. And as soon as I started thinking after the Georgia game, how did I leave them out? They lost the game, and then they struggled to win the next game. They were lucky to win the next game. So if I had to go out on a limb right now, it's not Oregon anymore because they beat Ohio State. Long shot. You know what? Make the people of Florida happy. Miami Hurricanes, especially after hurricane season.
We've had a tough one this year.
I'm not going to be betting on suspicious things like that. But anyway, yeah, so it's tough. You know what? I'll throw that out there. I'm going to say Miami has as good a shot as anybody right now because their offense is phenomenal.
Okay, so how did you pick Cleveland? You've been trashing Deshaun Watson all year. We kind of talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about that. If we would have edited that, we could have. But yeah, I just I went over it. The numbers said what they said. I didn't factor in him as being important. I figured he'd run. They'd hand the ball off a lot. I think their running back came back. I think that was big. There was something that made it stand out to me that it's going to be a tough cover, and it was.
Okay, Pete, how did you guys survive the hurricane? We ended up with a lot more, not us personally, but our area, because we're on the East Coast. We ended up with a lot more damage than I thought we would get. People are still without power.
Yeah, the power, that was because tornadoes came through our section.
Yeah, they took the roof off of one of the banks.
Yeah, bank I used to be in. Thank God I'm not there. A roof, another establishment next door that used to be Blockbuster tapes.
Yeah, Supercuts or
now
something.
it's Supercuts. They got their ceiling blown out. Our gym got a lot of water damage. Our house was fine, thank God. No damage at all other than branches and things like that. So no, we survived it. Thanks for asking.
Yes. Okay, John from Staten Island. Oh, do you have any projects I can't read my own writing. Do you have any projects in the works? We've talked about that.
Well, we've always talked about, where the book stands with Terry Winter. He's certainly 100% behind it. I sent him a note. I told him I'd like to be on the Tulsa King.
Oh, that question.
And he wrote back, if we have a 3rd season, he will bring it to the table.
Okay.
So if they do have a 3rd season, I may be on Tulsa King. Let's hope.
Yes.
You know what it is? I had a dream. No, I'm not going to tell it because maybe he'll use that. But I had a dream. And I talked to him about that. So, but anyway, that's one. The other thing we have, there's a company, a production company that Steve Allen is part of, and he stays in touch with me. He came and he filmed us about a year ago, give or take. It's called Inside the Mind of a Killer. And I liked it because I had to talk to a shrink or a psychiatrist, whatever you want to call it. And I felt like Tony Soprano for a while, But
that's the one where you drove in the car and she was questioning you in the car and all that?
Yeah, at the gym, different places. Because I had an upbringing that was not conducive to being a hitman. Nobody would ever thought that. I was an altar boy. I was sports. I was in martial arts. I coached kids. There was nothing in my pedigree that would have made you think I would turn out that way. So they just got really, really enamored with this, and they wanted to know how it could happen. And it was good, and she was a nice girl. She was a good-looking girl, and she was pleasant. So we had a good 2 or 3 day shoot. Yeah. That's being offered around, and I think somebody will bite on it. That same team is working on something called Mazza's Millions. And this is where I'm in the back of a limousine with a multimillionaire doctor of psychiatry. We go to prisons and we take one person out of the prison and we offer them $1 million to make the world better. They can do whatever they want with that. They can build a park for the kids. They can give it to the church. They can give it to the local school. They can do whatever they want where they're doing something real good with it. And this is going to happen weekly. And we're talking about making it interaction where the fans or the audience get to vote on who they thought the best one was that week, and he moves on. What, you know, it's in the works. And ultimately, they don't know it yet.
Well, you're going to tell them right now. You can't tell them.
Okay. But
You have to stop right there.
all right.
Otherwise, then they'll
Yeah.
know.
Yes. Okay. You're right. Right. So anyway, but I do. I take somebody out and it's called Mazza's Millions. So,
Uh,
yeah.
Okay,
Anything
so-
else we have working on? What are we working on? What else? Inside Straight we're working on. Oh, you know that. And a potential documentary solely on my life and my story, as opposed to me being on. And it's Kevin Kaufman, dear friend, who we have a lot of it done already. We've worked together so long, so many years. Joe Paletto's behind it. Terry's good with it. And it can't hurt. It can't hurt to
Right.
keep generating interest. So hopefully, and it's called The Greatest Mob Story Never Told.
Yes.
And it certainly is. So,
Oh, this question is for me.
oh, okay. Sorry.
That's okay. How do you keep up with this guy? Laugh out loud. High maintenance? Yes. Let me answer
What do you
that
mean?
question.
What do you mean?
High maintenance is up here, but we have a good time. We laugh,
Yes.
and we never have a dull moment. Okay, Eddie from Chicago. What's up with P. Diddy?
What is that, Sean Combs? Sean Puffy Combs?
Yes.
What do I know? I know, God. Where did that come from?
I just had to put that one out
that's
there.
funny. Okay, well,
Because it's on the topic.
all right.
So,
Well, it's a good thing to wrap up with because I don't know why, but you got Epstein
right?
went through this and he got killed in prison. Somebody killed him. Obviously, it was. I mean,
No, suicide.
I don't think so.
Me neither.
They say that, but whatever. You know. Who knows? Everybody's got to keep an open mind. The haters are going to come out and they're going to say, kill him, put him in. But you see a lot of things. The Menendez trial, right? There's starting to be different looks at that now. I look at my own case. Our judge shocked us at one pretrial hearing when he said, gentlemen, and he used that word,
Recluse.
yeah, I am
recuse.
recusing myself from the case. I've seen so many Colombo cases. I feel like an honorary member, and you guys can't get a fair trial with me.
Wow.
He thought we would. He said, I think you're all guilty. So I'm taking myself off. That's a good judge, really.
Yes,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
that's
So,
true.
and
That's
you
true.
know, you look at like some things you see now, like political trials going on. Some of those judges should take themselves off because they're so one-sided. You know, to go back to that, how I got into this thing, you got to keep an open mind. Even though what you're seeing, they're showing you films of him beating up his girlfriend.
That's bad.
It's bad. It's all bad stuff. I mean, you know, so that's what they do. The government or the prosecutors, they're going to put that out there for all the jury polls to see. You know, but you got to keep an open mind. And if he's as bad as what Epstein looked like and he was really doing these things and abusing people, it's going to come out. It's going to be hard because close people around him are going to save themselves. Okay? Even the mob guys turn out that way at some point. It becomes every man for himself. There's going to be names coming up that they don't want to be part of it, so they're going to talk. And when that all happens, then he's doomed. If and when it happens. If it doesn't, and they say, hey, they got wild parties, but it wasn't, you know, they're making, you know, wasn't as bad. Everybody has, you know, 200 containers of Vaseline around the house.
Baby oil. Baby
or
oil.
whatever it was. See, I just gave misinformation. I thought it was Vaseline. So, anyway, so
Okay,
so it's funny. That's
there
it.
is my 2 cents for the week.
That's my 2 cents. Yes, we didn't do it my 2 cents, but that's it. Keep an open mind if you're ever a juror, and on that note, get straightened out. with Inside Straight.
Goodbye. Have a good week.
Be a winner.